Well, the proposals to merge Northern California and Southern Oregon into the state of Jefferson have been around for about 150
Siskiyou
years.
County is the first to jump on board the Declaration of Secession from California.
Some are calling it a bold move by Siskiyou County. Its Board of Supervisors voted 4-1 in favor of seceding from the state of California.
This week, the Siskiyou County Board of Supervisors voted to secede from California. Supervisors say they're not being represented in Sacramento. Supervisor Brandon Criss says the specifics come down to fish and wildlife policies and those involving river dams.
80% of Siskiyou County opposes dam removal, and and neither Governor Brown or Governor Schwarzenegger have come up to Siskiyou County to listen to us. I think that's one of the major catalysts. It's also the regulatory. They've started reinterpreting old rules, and now we've had to go to court over it. The Farm Bureau won a lawsuit against the Fish and Game, would be Fish and Wildlife in California.
Many are familiar with the idea of the state of Jefferson.
This is an effort to say enough is enough, and we'd like to have control of our own destiny.
The Declaration first came to fruition back in 1941. The movement came to an abrupt end in December after Pearl Harbor was bombed because secessionists focused their efforts on the war effort, which crippled the movement.
They are getting fed up with the regulations that come out of the California state legislature to the point now where it's getting more difficult to survive economically.
That's why Siskiyou County is the first to jump on board the state of Jefferson's coalition's movement to revisit the idea. Residents and some county officials say they are fed up.
We need representation, and we're not getting that currently in Sacramento. Our voices are not being heard. We're being ignored.
Tuesday, the County Board of Supervisors voted 4-1 in favor of a declaration of secession from California. We talked with residents and we couldn't find one that was not in favor of the declaration.
I'm tired of Southern California running our area. They're telling us what to do, but we live differently up here.
Sacramento and San Francisco govern us, and they know nothing about us. We're a smaller community, a smaller everything compared to that.
Splitting from California would not be an easy task.
It's very difficult. You have to get the state legislature, both houses, to approve it, and both houses of Congress to approve it.
But difficult or not, the more than 70-year-old idea of the state of Jefferson has now been brought back to life.
Still looks the same, despite everything that's going on down there.
The vast majority of county residents I talk to are convinced many of our governmental officials are more concerned about fish, plants, birds, and frogs than they are about the people they serve. And that's
Water is more precious than gold, and the government wants to control that 100%.
It's a very hard living. There's not a lot of profit. This year alone, I think we had close to an 800% increase in our water fee. Most of us, the farmers up here, are just trying to make, an honest living, trying to provide food for California, food for America, and it's becoming more and more difficult to do that. We'll see how small the river is that we're fighting over.
Just based on what you're telling me, it sounds like this is about control.
It's about controlling water, because if they can control the water, then they can control all aspects of what type of either farming or economic activity that can occur.
The state of Jefferson is still just a name painted on a barn along Interstate 5, but the movement took its biggest step forward last night when the Siskiyou County Board of Supervisors voted 4-1 in favor of separating from the rest of California.
Well, of course, we're very excited because it opens the door for hopefully a brighter future for rural California.
The separation movement has been gathering steam ever since property owners started receiving bills for a new $150 rural fire protection fee. Organizers say as more and more Californians move to the city, people in less populated areas have almost no voice in state government.
As our own state, we would have local representation with local experience and local wisdom, people who know the issues here and have a good sense of what to do about them.
The U.S. Constitution spells out how to split a state. It requires the approval of both the state legislature and Congress. And it's happened before. Vermont, Kentucky, Tennessee, Maine, and West Virginia were all formed from parts of neighboring states.
Call it seceding. That's what organizers fighting for the state of Jefferson are saying tonight. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jennifer Scarborough.
I'm Mike Mangus. Discussion has sparked up in Reading's City Hall about it now. KRCR News Channel 7's Evan Shriver has been working today to get the facts, and he is here with us to explain. Evan.
Mike, Jennifer, it's been talked about for a little while now, but it actually took an interesting turn last night. The city of Reading has entered the ring. It's a positive step for organizers who are looking for support.
The problems that we face up here are not the same in Sacramento or the Bay Area or LA. We want representation that is specific to us and our issues.
Jason Tucker took those issues to the people.
Well, the frustration comes directly out of Sacramento. We feel that we're misrepresented. We feel that the laws that are coming out of Sacramento don't show who we are as a community and who we are as a people.
On Wednesday, outside Sportsman's Warehouse in Reading, the Shasta County State of Jefferson Board of Declaration member was getting the petition signatures he was looking for in order to create an entity separate from the state of California and present them to the Shasta County Board of Supervisors. After similar movements in neighboring Siskiyou County, Tucker is working to get Shasta in the mix. But it was the biggest vote of confidence so far that came from Tuesday's Reading City Council meeting.
Item 11, suggestions from council members.
A suggestion by Vice Mayor Patrick Jones putting the topic up for discussion.
That had an interest to me. We all know here all the difficulties with the state mandates.
It's an item now on the city's radar, something Tucker hopes will be a big enough start to move things forward.
If the people want this, it will happen. We're a republic, and I'm a citizen of the United States, and my voice matters.
New tonight, a second Northern California county has voted to secede from the state. Modoc County supervisors voted unanimously this morning. They're joining neighboring Siskiyou County in trying to form a new state. Organizers say they're tired of urban outsiders passing environmental regulations and other laws that harm local industries like logging and ranching.
What we need to do to form a state of Jefferson is we need to convince people to help us. The people we need to convince don't live here. They don't know how we live. They don't know what we do. They're in a place far, far away. So we need to educate them, and we need to help them, and the internet's one way we can do that. We need to help them learn why they would win in letting us go and why we would win in being let go. And that's something that the Facebook effort can go a long way to accomplish. What we want to do here, and this is the most important thing we're going to do, we have to have a successful outcome. We have to end up with our own state, or none of the rest of this matters. None of what anyone wants matters. None of what anyone does matters. None of these issues matter if we don't have a successful outcome, and that outcome has to be our own state. Because we know we're underrepresented. Everyone knows that. The sheriff outlined it. All of the speakers outlined it. In order to change that dynamic, we have to win. In order to win, we have to present a balanced, even, inclusive argument so that we can convince people who live 1,000 miles away that it would be in their best interest to allow us to form our own state, and we know it would be in our best interest. How do we do that? We have to craft the conversation so that we can present logical arguments to show why they are better off with us having our own state and why we are better off. What are those arguments? Well, we have a lot of issues that have been presented already, but the most important issue is representation. And that's how we have to sell this. We have to craft the conversation so that they understand that it would be in their best interest and most economical for them to have self-interest and representation that only has to worry about their problems, and we in turn would have representation that could better worry about our problems. This state is so big and so diverse, people in Los Angeles can't understand the problems we face. And we, in turn, cannot understand, and we can't help them with the problems
In other
they
news
face.
today, Glenn County supervisors voted unanimously to join the State of Jefferson movement to begin the process of secession from the state. According to the petition, the board felt the county has suffered under state mandates that don't represent the best interests of residents there when it comes to natural resources, health, and the economy.
I think it's important that as counties up here and the lack of representation that we feel, that we do something to get that message across to the state.
Glenn County is the third county to join the secession movement following Siskiyou County and Modoc County.
Paine also said, "It is the summer soldier and the sunshine patriot that will shrink from the service of his country. But he who stand with us now deserves the thanks of men and of women." I remember my mother in 8th grade, she made me take a typing class, and I thought, oh God, gee, here it comes. I'm going to be laughed out of school. But I'll tell you, as I was sitting there grinding away, and by the way, I got up to 24 words a minute with 5 mistakes, I remember one phrase that I typed constantly. Now is the time for all good men to come to the aid of their country. Now is the time for all good men to come to the aid of their country. The time has come for 51. Here.